If your days feel full but your progress feels slower than it should, this episode is for you. Most growing businesses don't lack motivation or ambition, they lack breathing room. Too many meetings, too many emails, too many small decisions that eat up the attention without really moving the business forward. And the frustrating part is that most of this workload is completely unnecessary. Today I want to talk about something that's already inside your business, already on your invoices, and already influencing how work gets done. Whether you like it or not, artificial intelligence. Not as a buzzword, not as a futuristic promise, but as the practical tool that most small and medium businesses are underusing, misusing, or ignoring altogether. If you think AI is something you'll look at later, I'm going very direct with you. Later is already too late. Not because you missed a trend, but because AI has quietly embedded itself into the tools you already rely on. Email, calendars, documents, meetings, CRM systems, it's all there. The real question is whether you're using it intentionally or whether it's just another feature you pay for and never activate. Over the past year, I spoke with a lot of founders and managers who all say roughly the same thing. AI sounds interesting but vague, powerful but risky, useful but something they don't have time to figure out. And then, without realizing it, they describe exactly the problems AI is designed to reduce. Overloaded inboxes, endless meetings, knowledge stuck in people's heads, teams that are constantly busy but somehow already behind. That gap between perception and reality is where most businesses get stuck. Because AI isn't coming to your business, it's already there. It's sitting quietly in the background, waiting for direction, and without direction, it doesn't help. It just exists. Think about a very typical situation. A company with 15 or 20 employees, everyone uses the same collaboration tools. Meetings happen all the time, decisions are made verbally, action points disappear into chat messages, or meetings recordings nobody revisits. 2 weeks later, the same discussion happens again. Not because people are incompetent, but because the system doesn't support clarity. What AI does extremely well in this context is not replacing human thinking, but removing friction. It listens, summarizes, structures, rewrites, and connects information that would otherwise stay scattered. It turns conversations into documentation and decisions into shared understanding. That alone can change how a team operates. I've seen companies where meeting notes went from being optional to being automatic, where action items stopped being, well, remember this, and started becoming reliable output. Not because people suddenly become more disciplined, but because the tooling handled the boring repetitive work that nobody enjoys but everyone depends on. Now let's address the concern that always surfaces next: security and privacy. This is often where leadership freezes. Stories about data leaks, training models and on company information, and compliance risk create hesitation. Some of those concerns are legitimate. Many are outdated. The real risk I see most often is that businesses adopt AI too aggressively. It's that they avoid making a decision altogether. And when leadership doesn't decide, employees do. They start using public AI tools on their own, they paste emails, proposals, and internal documents into tools they found online. Not out of recklessness, but out of necessity. They want to work faster. Without guidelines or approved platforms, you end up with shadow AI everywhere. And that is far more dangerous than a controlled, well thought out rollout. That's why AI is no longer just an IT topic, it's management topic. It forces you to think about how information flows through your organization, where it gets created, where it gets lost, and where people spend energy on work that adds no strategic value. It's also important to say this clearly. AI will not fix broken processes. If your document structure is chaos, permissions are unclear, and nobody knows where the latest version lives, AI will amplify that chaos. Good AI outcomes depends on good fundamentals. Clean data, clear ownership, and basic structure suddenly matter more than ever. The companies that get the most value from AI don't start with technology, they start with order. They clean up how they work, reduce noise, and then let AI multiply the impact of those improvements. For founders, there's another layer to this. Many founders unknowingly become bottlenecks. They carry context in their heads, they answer the same questions repeatedly, they rewrite similar explanations over and over again. AI gives you a chance to externalize that knowledge, to turn how you think into something that businesses can reuse, scale, and build on. But that only works if you're willing to let go of the idea that everything has to run through you to be correct. AI thrives on clarity and trust in systems, not heroics. Some people fear AI because they think it will replace jobs. In small and growing businesses, that fear misses the point. AI doesn't replace people who understand the business, it replaces tasks that drain energy without creating value. The real danger isn't automation, it's inefficiency becoming permanent while competitors quietly move ahead. I've seen businesses of similar size and budgets take very different paths. One treats AI as a curiosity, the other treats it as infrastructure. After a year, the difference is obvious. Less stress, faster decisions, better onboarding, fewer things slipping through the cracks, not because they work harder, but because they removed unnecessary friction. So, where do you start? Not with a big promise or complex projects. Start by looking at where the time disappears every single week. Meetings, emails, reporting, internal questions, documentation. Pick one or area. Improve it, then move on to the next. Momentum beats perfection every time. And just as important, set boundaries. Decide which tools are allowed, decide what data can be used, explain those decisions to your team. Clear rules don't slow people down, they protect them. AI isn't a silver bullet. It won't fix poor leadership or unclear strategy. But used intentionally, it gives growing businesses something incredibly valuable: space. Space to think, to plan, and to grow without constantly feeling overwhelmed. That's the opportunity, not to become an AI first company, but a focused, resilient, and scalable one. If there's one takeaway from this episode, it's this: AI rewards clarity. The clearer your processes, your data, and your decisions, the more value it delivers. And the sooner you start building that clarity, the easier growth becomes. Thank you for listening to IT for Growth. If this episode made you look differently at how work happens inside your business, then I did exactly what it was meant to do. Until next time, keep building smart, not just fast.